I am in the VIP area at Bloodstock and joined by Scott Taylor of the band Beholder. How's it going, sir?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Third day of the festival, so feeling actually fresher than I should be. So that's good. I obviously need to drink more. Right, now you played on the main stage just yesterday. What was it like being up there looking out of the crowd?
Unbelievable. No, it's a dream come true, really. Like an experience I've never had before. The boys had done like the main stage thing a few years back when they were really quite new to it all, and they were first to admit that they perhaps weren't ready for it back then, but they got kind of chucked to the sharks, as it were, and they made the most of it. This time round was a little bit more special. The band's a lot stronger, and on a selfish note, it's something I'd never done before. So to walk out, and I don't want to sound defeatist, but I didn't really think it would be so rammed, and like we had such a great response, and just coming out and having a field full of people was just makes your weekend. Really, really good though. Enjoyed it a lot.
Excellent. Now you've had a new album out earlier on this year, called The Order of Chaos. How was that received by both the fans and the critics?
Really, really good. In all fairness, I tend to not really look into reviews a hell of a lot. I kind of keep a close eye on like the bigger ones from the bigger magazines, like the Metal Hammers, if you like, and the Terrorizers, who seem to really enjoy it. Like we got, like, say you get your marks out of 10 or whatever, and we got get like most of them have been 7, 8s and 9s, so I guess that can't be bad. Yeah, I mean, people who have been friends and fans of the band for a while say they think it's better than the first, which is good. You want to go in the right direction, don't you? And it's definitely, I mean, I was not involved in The Awakening. The Awakening was released about 6 months before I joined, so I toured The Awakening, but I didn't write any of it. This one was obviously, again, quite precious to me in the sense that I was involved in the writing process. The lads seemed to really welcome me in and my writing style, and we've literally bashed out something that's like quite a lot heavier than the first one, very much more direct, more continuity, if you like, because the first one's got like a ballad on it, a bit of a classic rock at times, then like a bit of a hard edge metal thing. This one I think's been more refined, more kind of sharp, and people seem to really be into it. Yeah, we've had quite a lot of good feedback, no bad feedback, so I guess that's good. Most people are just too scared to tell us that they don't like it, but each to their own, man. It seems to go all right.
Excellent. So you know the Awakening stuff intimately. You said you toured with it. How do you feel? What do you think changed? What did you bring to Beholder for this new album?
It's hard to say. I mean, I guess I probably replaced someone who was more old school in his metal taste, and I'm perhaps a little bit more new school. I don't know. It's difficult to just generalise it like that, but obviously I've replaced someone who was like a little older than me, and like although he's really into like similar bands to me, he's got a different background, if you like, whereas like I was more brought up on the Panteras and the Machine Heads, which you took metal to another level, and kind of my riff approaching is a lot different. It's a lot more kind of, I can't describe it. I guess I kind of just brought my own kind of style and technique of riffing forward, and hooked up with like mainly with the drummer and like the other guitarist I've known for years. Like we were just these people that always kind of missed each other, like ships in the night, never really got the chance to jam, and that we fit together. We both knew we would. There was no issue there. And then it was just getting to know the lads a bit more, got to know the drummer, and me and the drummer I've done quite a lot of work together. He kind of picks up on my approach to riff writing, and then he's got his style of like polyrhythmic kind of rhythms and stuff, and I don't know, I guess I just brought something, I brought something a little bit fresher and a bit heavier and a bit more kind of sharper sounding. I don't know really, you'd have to ask them. It's a bit of a tough one, but like I think it's definitely a bit more attacking, this album, in the sense that there's more like fast stuff, fast paced stuff, like I say, lots of syncopation with double bass, so a bit more kind of, you could argue it's even more technical. Not that I'm a very technical player, but yeah, I don't know. I just brought my own kind of brand of tomfoolery to it, really, and they seem to embrace it, so I can't really complain, can I?
Excellent. So you're fully integrated into songwriting and everything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think almost without really, because we write it as a band, really. I come up with quite a lot of core ideas, which I'm always a bit sceptical about doing that because I don't want people to think it's my way or the highway. But the fact is, they got to grips with me pretty quick, and I'm not an arsehole when it comes to writing. So it's like, even though I tend to come up with a lot of like core ideas, it's really well received by the guys. We're brutally honest with each other as well. And if something's not working, you know, there's no force in music when you write it, is it? Like, you just got to kind of, I'll give this a go. Yeah, that works, brilliant. And then like sometimes what we'll do, nothing's really complete. Like, I might have an idea, but then all 5 of us will sit there and we'll rehearse it, and then we'll rip it apart and we'll put it back together. And then really, it's always a collaborative effort, which is how it should be. And we get on really well in the practice room. Like I say, we're not afraid to say things don't work. And I think that's why we ended up with a really consistent album, because we trimmed all the fat off. You know, we had to be brutal with it, and we'll continue to be brutal with our own music, because you want to put out something that really does work from start to finish. If there's any loose ends that we don't like, then you've got to be honest and be like, we've got to get rid of it. So yeah, we're pretty open and honest about like what we like and what we're into. So yeah, it's gone all right. Like, we fit quite well. It seems to have been. They do say that it was kind of the missing piece of the puzzle. Like, when they lost the old guitarist, who was still firm friends with, he was helped us out on stage yesterday, teching. But when they had to find someone else, and then I came in, this is the longest I think the lineup's been our lineup without a change. They've gone through quite a few like changes in the past before I joined, because they were a covers band beforehand. But like, since I joined, it's been pretty much consistent, and I think it's showing in the music and what we're coming out with. We're settled now. It's good. Things are kicking on. Excellent.
Now, we had to wait 4 years between The Awakening and The Order of Chaos. Is that going to happen again?
No, not a chance. I think we've basically, as anyone will tell you in this industry, like we got no record label. We're doing it all ourselves. So we pumped what we could into it and thought we'll do it ourselves. That turned out to be a little bit difficult, and we literally recorded the album and hated it and started again. So we recorded it twice. I think that was part of the problem. Obviously, there was the lineup change after The Awakening. So I had a tour that I was thrust straight into, and then we had like a year where we had a load of gigs planned, and we just needed to concentrate on getting them done with me involved and getting me involved more. And so we did that, and then we're like, right, now we'll set aside to write. And then we wrote, and we stopped. Obviously, Simon's got quite a lot of commitment in between with the Metal to the Masses, so there'd be month lulls. So yeah, it all built up. But the main problem being, I suppose, at the time, is that we wrote and recorded the album ourselves thinking we could do it and have it sound how we wanted, and it didn't sound how we wanted it to, so we scrapped it and we started again. And that's when, like, Gimli, Simon Cliff, who was the guy oddly who I replaced in the band, he decided that he's like, I'll help you out, guys, because he's a producer himself now. He's got his own studio, and he was a godsend. I mean, he really did, because he knows his stuff more than we do, and it took a bit of pressure off us. But of course, it did mean we had to start from scratch again. But this time round, because we've learned all them lessons now, and we're already like heading into the studio to start piecing together new. I mean, I've got a back catalogue of riffs now that are ready to go, because we've been sitting on The Order of Chaos really for a couple of years, and as a band, I mean, you sit on it longer than people realise, I think, like fine-tuning it all the way. But like, it's going to be starting from scratch, probably by September, maybe early October. We're back in the studio, just pulling things together, in the hope that we'll release it next year. I'm not gonna don't quote me on that, because God, we said this with the last one, didn't we? But no, honestly, the point is, this time round, we're going to be more consistent. We know exactly the process we're going to go through, and it'll be a lot quicker. And yeah, all being well, it'll be next year. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, Simon Hall, the frontman, obviously one of the faces of Bloodstock, really. Everyone knows him here. He's a big man with a bigger personality. What's it like going on tour with a man like that?
Yeah. Can be painful. No, honestly, it makes it. He's a larger-than-life character, and the fact is, we all kind of bounce off each other, and we take a lot of influence from him in the fact that he's got that kind of bravado about him, but a welcoming one. Do you know what I mean? I feel like he's kind of got all the traits of a rock star without actually being your typical rock star who, rock stars can be a bit big-headed sometimes, and he doesn't have that element to him, but he knows how to carry himself, and that's where the larger-than-life stuff comes in. And he's such a great person to be around, like, just the enthusiasm. I mean, I've always, like, growing up, I've always had the enthusiasm for music, and I've often struggled to get the same level of excitement around me in band situations. But being in Beholder, it's like 5 guys just driven by this by side of just pure music fans that just still have a thirst for just being here and doing this kind of thing. So it really is great. Never a dull moment. Never really much seriousness going on the road ever. As much as like we'll always go out on tour and we're like, this time round, no jokes, cool. We need to step our game up. Yeah, let's be professional, blah blah blah. And it's not who we are. Like, we're professional, don't get me wrong, but we're not serious. So like we'll get on stage and that's where the fun starts again. So yeah, it's brilliant. It really has been the best few years of like my life in general. Just because of like the fun we've had, the places we've travelled, and it is just like doing it. It's just best. We're just best friends. Do you know what I mean? It quickly happened for us, and I think it needed to for a band like them. When they lost like the last guitarist, they had all this momentum, and they needed to keep going. And then I'm really easy going and fit straight into the personalities in the band, and yeah, but it's brilliant. I can't explain it to you. Only people will see it on stage like they did yesterday. Just a small fraction of the craziness that is the life on the road with the older. And we had game faces on yesterday because it was like, you know, these things are always a bit more like the festivals are regimented. We're on and off, but like Sign Intent was so much fun. Yeah, because then we can get back to just be like dicking around and stuff. So the job at hand was done up there. You know, we brought it, we slayed it. It seemed to go really well. Afterwards, we kick back, have some beers, and that's when you really see what we're like about even more so as people. So yeah, it's great fun.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I'll let you get back to your beer.
No problem at all. Thank you for chatting to me. I hope I didn't waste your time too much.
Not at all. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thanks, dude.